Whoops. Hey, let me know if it's looking and sounding okay. Um, yeah, I think I got everything set up. I'm not really sure. I got a lot going on right now. It's a little bit overwhelming as usual, but I keep adding things to my live stream and I'm not ever 100% sure if I've got it set up good or set up right. So it looks like, oh shoot, sorry. What am I doing? What am I doing? Trying to, okay, here we go. What's up, Rambler? What's up, Shadows of Smoke? Welcome. Welcome, everybody who is here. I really appreciate it. Just real quick before we get into it, the idea of this stream is obviously to do some color grading in Resolve and with Dehancer. And I didn't feel like doing, I didn't feel like grading my own footage. You know, I'm like, I haven't really done anything super interesting aside from like creating my own YouTube videos. I haven't done a lot of client work in a minute and just didn't really have anything that was super inspiring to grade. So I reached out to some people on YouTube whom I follow, who I kind of have a little bit of a, Instagram, chatting and whatnot here and there. Reached out to some people and asked if they would share some footage with me, if they wouldn't mind me grading some of their footage. And so I got a couple people that agreed and sent me some stuff to work on today. So that's what we're going to be doing, which I'm, very thankful of. And I'm going to give everyone a shout out who gave me some footage to grade. Let me just check on chat real quick and see what's going on. Shadows of Smoke, welcome. And I don't know if this is going to be great. That's a lot of pressure, but I appreciate it. What's going on, Rambler? And opinions on color grading cards cost $15 on Amazon. I'm not sure what kind of color grading cards are you talking about. You mean like that was super smooth, like a card like this, like a white balance and color checker card. Yeah, this was like $15 on Amazon. This is a data color one. A data color is they make color calibration. They make the spider checker calibration tool that you can use to calibrate your monitor. So this is pretty good and it's pretty inexpensive. I'm not sure if that's what you mean, but let's see. Is that a Roadcaster? That thing with the white squares? Let's see. Okay, so I set up this angle kind of last minute. I figured it'd be fun to just kind of show what's going on here with this stream. This is the Roadcaster Duo. I got this just this past week. I had the old Roadcaster, the original Roadcaster Pro. I stopped using it because it was just so bulky and I didn't need all those inputs, but this has some really great functionality and maybe I'll probably do a video on it sometime. But yeah, so that's what that is. I got the A10 Mini Pro here, so this is what I am switching my camera angles with. And then I've got my Stream Deck here. This is currently not set up to do anything with this stream. And then over here I have my Mac Mini. So I'm actually streaming from the Mac Mini and I'm going to be doing the color grading in my Windows PC. So the Windows PC is going to do color grading and then the stream's actually going out from the Mac Mini. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's everything we got going on. Let's see. Sounds good. Fantastic. Real good. Okay. Thank you for letting me know everything is looking and sounding okay. Yeah, without further ado, I guess I'll just get into it. I wanted to just shout out everybody who gave me footage, who lent me footage to work on. One is Anson & Co. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with his channel. I've been following him for a long time. He is primarily, well, not primarily, he does a lot of Sigma lens reviews. Had a kind of a long-term relationship with Sigma. He does a lot of Sigma Cine lenses. He usually gets first dibs on a lot of new Cine photo and video lenses, but he's also big into the Sigma FP. So if you want to know, he's had that camera for a long time and the FPL, although I think he might have sold that one. But yeah, he's a fantastic filmmaker, great cinematographer, does really great work. Like his channel just looks amazing. Like all his footage, his main talking heads looks amazing, and all his B-roll is just kind of on another level. So really appreciate it that he lent me some footage to check out or to grade. And another channel is my friend Mark Weimels. Um, he is just blown up this year. He's now over 50,000 subscribers, but he does a lot of more like budget-oriented gear reviews, a lot of like uh, budget-oriented and sort of like accessible lens reviews. He's focused kind of on APS-C systems. He did a lot of like when the Canon, I don't know, what the old Canon APS-C mirrorless system I think is now defunct, but he kind of started out on that and now he's on more Sony stuff. But great channel, so appreciate him. And then lastly, I got something from Garrett Ware. Garrett Ware is a fellow Tennessean. I think he's out somewhere in the East Tennessee. But yeah, he's basically does the same kind of stuff that I do. Just gear reviews, some tutorials here and there, some lighting tutorials, some filmmaking tutorials. But yeah, just a really great guy. Seems like a really cool guy. I don't really know him too well. I just kind of reached out on Instagram, and he was super happy to help out, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, check out all these guys. If you don't already follow them, highly recommend that you do. Oh, Garrett's here. Stoked to be. Oh, I don't even have to read the comments. I figured out how to put comments up on the stream, so I don't have to read them out loud anymore. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Makes me nervous when I know people. I mean, I know Rambler, and he's been in my streams a few times, but I don't know. It's a lot of pressure. But thank you for being here. Are you a Tennessee Vols fan? I know you're out in the East, like I said, in East Tennessee. I know they're playing right now. So if you're a Vols fan, I hope you got the game going on in the background at least. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So you were talking about this thing. Yeah, highly recommend. Just at least just for setting your white balance in camera. Super handy. And Garrett agrees that Anson is incredible. Yes, he is amazing. Okay. Well, I think that's all the preamble. So I guess we'll just get into it if I can remember what I'm trying to do. Let me know if that music is distracting. I thought it might just be kind of like a little bit of something to break up my monotonous voice. But if it's too loud or it's annoying, just let me know and I'll kill it. Okay, so we're in Resolve, right? You guys can see that. So here I've got these 3 clips from Anson. I guess he was working on kind of a first look or something at a wedding. This is the clip that I got from Mark Weimels. I guess this is like not a music video, but kind of like a lyric video kind of thing. So it's basically just like one shot that he and a friend or he and a buddy were working on together. So it's really just this continuous shot here, but really cool setup, cool lighting, interesting wardrobe and all that stuff. So that's the one from Mark Weimels. And then Garrett sent over, looks like a wedding. And that, well, hold on. Let me just reorder these real quick. I just got these down. If I can remember how to work. What am I doing? I know what I'm doing. I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay. So it looks like a wedding. Do I have 2 shots? Oh, I think I just have a couple. And then, I don't know, this is probably an unrelated event, but really pretty shot here too. And I left everything kind of in its natural state, so we could just sort of look at how I have my Resolve set up, because there's so many different ways that you can ingest footage and deal with color in Resolve. And I like to do, let me get this comment out of here. I like to do Resolve color management. So if you're not familiar with that, man, why is my computer going so slow? It's not doing anything. Okay. So Resolve color management, if you pull up your project settings and then come down to the 3rd tab called color management, under color science, it's here under color managed. By default, it's DaVinci Y RGB, but I like to do, like I said, Resolve color managed. And then color processing mode, SDR. I don't know how to do HDR. I guess you probably need HDR monitors to really mess with that. And then the output color space is uh, actually, nope, yeah. Okay, start over. So color managed, and then I'm going to uncheck automatic color management, and then I'm going to set this to HDR DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate. And then that's your working color space. So when you're in the color tab, you're working in this wide gamut, super huge color space. It just gives you so much latitude to work with your footage. And then when you output it, it's going to be back down into Rec 709. If you're using a Mac, a lot of people are going to set that to Rec 709-A. If you're on Windows, you can leave this at scene, or you can set it to Gamma 2.2 or 2.4, I guess, depending on variables, but scene is fine for our use cases. So that's Resolve Color Management. And what that allows us to do is, like these 3 clips here from Anson are all Blackmagic. I guess they're from a Pocket Cinema camera, probably the 6K. Let's see. I don't think it tells us here. But it does tell us it's in Blackmagic RAW. So this has already been basically, it's been transcoded, or it's been switched over from its log profile, like Blackmagic Film, into the Rec 709 color space that we've already set up here. So we didn't have to do anything. This here from Mark Weimel's, oh man, what am I doing? Is from the Sony A7 IV. And you can probably tell that it's in a log format. So in order to, all we have to do to change this into Rec 709 is find it in the timeline, right click on it, come down to input color space, find Sony sgamut3.cine, slog3, boom, that turns it into Rec 709. And then these from Garrett, he's labeled them very helpfully. Lumix S5 Mark II. Yeah, and you can see that they are in Vlog because he's labeled them. So all we need to do with them, I'll just highlight all those, right click, input color space, Panasonic, V-Gamut Vlog. Boom, magic. So that's the benefit of Resolve Color Managed, because it already does all the conversions for you, and it does them in my opinion, a very pleasing way. Jumping over into the color tab, if you didn't do that, you would have to do color space transforms, like a color space transform. To do that transformation, you have to do it manually, or you'd have to use a LUT of some sort to take it from log to Rec 709. If you're using log footage, of course. Also, let me know too, I've got my window unit blowing, just so I don't melt in here. If it's annoying, if you can hear that kind of low rumble, then just let me know and I can kill it. And I'll just deal with the heat. Okay. So let's go. What I thought I might do, depending on the time, I got more clips than I wasn't sure how many clips I was going to get. So I'm going to try to keep this to like an hour-ish, maybe longer, but we'll just kind of play it by ear. I thought I might do like a Dehancer grade and then a non-Dehancer grade, because I know not everybody uses Dehancer. Not everybody wants to spend the $450 on the full Dehancer license. So if you want to know, or if you want to see that, then let me know. So let's just get started. Yeah, I'm going to turn this off. It's distracting me. Garrett says he's the shell of what a former Vols fan used to be. I'm an alumni. I went to UT. My freshman year was their national championship year in 1998. I'm dating myself, and it's been downhill ever since. They've had a couple good years here and there, but it's they peaked early. Wow, the lighting. Can you subclip? Yeah. So I did some subclips on Garrett's footage, because he had some of these clips were kind of long, and I liked a couple, like he kind of moved around the camera, Like there was like this shot here that I liked, and then everybody sat down, and then I liked this shot where you could see the woman who's fanning herself. I liked the movement in that. And then there was another one here where he had like the man in the foreground, this guy he's focusing on. So I made subclips for each of those. If you don't know how to make subclips, you just set in and out points on the clip. So just hit I for in, O for out, and then hit Alt B. B is in Bravo, and it'll create a subclip. Okay, back to color. And let me know. Yeah, just keep asking questions. I'll check over in the comments from time to time, and let me know. If you didn't know too, like switching pages in Resolve, obviously you've got these icons down at the bottom, but they're shortcuts. It's basically just Shift 2 for the media page, Shift 3 for the cut page, Shift 4 for edit, Shift 5 for fusion, 6 for color, etc. And then you can, once you know those and you start using that, then you can actually just close down that page navigation at the bottom and get a little extra real estate. All right. So I'm just going to kind of do this manually, and I'm just going to create a couple of serial nodes. Pull up my scopes here. And it's really hard to think when people are watching me work, watching me do stuff. I'm gonna dehance because it's gonna help me focus. So I'm gonna put Dehancer on and just drag this over to this node. Close down my clips here. Okay, so we've got Dehancer up. Let me pull this up so we can see better. Okay, so by default, if you don't know Dehancer, it is film emulation, and it opens up with a couple things applied by default that I kind of like to switch off usually. So you've got the film emulation. It defaults to Vision 3 250D. We'll just turn that off for now, and then it also adds in the film grain by default, and we'll turn that off. And now this should be pretty much what the clip looks like without it. And up at the top, under source, since we're working in DaVinci Resolve wide gamut intermediate, I'm going to select that as my input. If you're not doing color management, you can set it as Rec 709. They also have camera profiles. Excuse me. And they keep adding more and more and more. They've got all these brands. So you can do the conversion from log into Rec 709 right in Dehancer. But anyway, okay, so wide gamut. And then I like to use the print profile, either the Fujifilm 3513, which I've been really liking lately, or the Kodak 2383. And you can see that right off the bat, it gives it a very contrasty and kind of punchy look, very cinematic, using either of these two. I've been liking the Fujifilm just because I think the Kodak is, everybody's using the Kodak 2383. I also like to look at movies and just see if they were shot on film, what they used, and I kind of go from there too. I just kind of copy what a lot of movies do. Let me enable that again. So it can get a little heavy-handed using the film emulation plus the print film, and the Kodak Vision 250D is very blue. So sometimes I like to switch it over to tungsten, and it makes it a little bit more neutral. So I'm going to go with the Vision 3500 tungsten. And we'll just kind of start there. And just looking at the scopes, everything's looking pretty good. It kind of came back into a much more neutral place. You can see, the RGB, nothing's like super skewed. So I don't really have to do a whole lot of balancing, I don't think. So I'll go back into my Dehancer node and just kind of keep working there. The film developer is a new tab, and what I like about it, they have this color boost tab. It's a way to add back in saturation, because a lot of these film emulations they desaturate the image a lot. So if you want to resaturate it, you can use this color boost. And the next one that I really like is this film compression. So just take a look over here in the highlights where the sun is, and you add that film compression, and it just um, just really smushes that highlight, um, the range of that. And you can see that in the waveform too. If I undo that, how it's all bunched up here at the top, and then you enable that film compression, and it just kind of stretches it out and gives you much more information back. And then you can use this white point to basically just set the ceiling of your brightest areas in the image. And then this tonal range can really kind of stretch all that back out. And just look how much information we got back here. So I love that film compression. You can do all that kind of stuff in Resolve like without this, but this just makes it super, super easy. This, by the way, this is technically a raw clip, so we do have some raw controls here. You can see it's Blackmagic Gen 5. It's at ISO 3200, so it's pretty cranked in terms of the ISO. So if we wanted to adjust the exposure just with this ISO, we can. And you can see how much of the color we got back doing this as well. So I kind of like it. I forgot about that. So I can come back to my film compression and then maybe bring that back up so it's not so squished. Sweet. Okay. Let's see, what's next? And then back under the print tab here, another one of my favorites is the color density slider. And this is not necessarily the same thing as saturation. It adds just a lot of richness to certain hues. It's not like a global saturation. I kind of think it really isolates like red, yellow, green, red, yellow, blue. It's not in this shot. It's probably just going to do a lot for her skin tones that have some red in them. But there's not a lot of color in here. So this is going to be pretty subtle. It's probably doing the most to that sunset over there. But I like it. Okay. So maybe it's probably a little dark, I guess. What do you guys think? It's maybe the exposure on our main subject is probably a little low, I guess technically, although I don't mind it. So let's go here and we'll just label that exposure. And I think I'm going to do just a little power window here. I'll make a circle. I don't know why I like to do circles and then change the aspect ratio instead of just using a square. But I saw Cullen Kelly do it, so he's a pro. So if he does it, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to drag this out, feather that, and come back to our wheels here, and come to primaries, and just crank this up a little bit. And might have to track it. Let's see. Not really. Let's just do it anyway. It's simple enough. The tracking has gotten so amazingly good and so fast in Resolve that it's like, why not track it if it's especially something this easy to track? Yeah, it just kind of locks right there. Okay, cool beans. And we'll turn that off. And what do y'all think? Did that make it better or indifferent? Maybe a little more? Oh, so we got more comments here. Sorry. Let's see. Rambler is asking, are these videos and photos pre-edited? They look edited from POV. I don't know. I don't think they're pre-edited. Garrett's saying he's a medium to longer focal length fan typically. Love living between 50. Is there more of this comment? I'm having a hard time navigating these comments, sorry. There we go. 50 to 85 millimeters. Okay, cool. Okay, so Garrett's saying a general rule with exposure, at least for skin, is 50 to 70. He's going pretty dark, 30 to 50. Dang white. Letting the mood flow. Yeah, so definitely, and that's probably a good rule of thumb. But just because this is like golden hour, blue hour, and it's super backlit, and obviously there's no other light source coming from this side, then I think it's probably okay just to let this be pretty dark. Like I might not even do anything to it, but just I guess I wanted to like add something to this shot, and just maybe show you if you didn't know how to do the tracking and the power window, maybe that would be something to see. But where are we living at here? We are, yeah, this is obviously still pretty dark here. But I mean, I think if we keep cranking on this, then it's going to start getting probably pretty noisy. But maybe not. And I'm sure you probably can't see any of the grain and noise that I can see from all the compression. But maybe that looks a little better. And what do y'all think about her skin tones? Are they a little orangey? No, they look pretty good. Okay, I don't want to spend all day. I'm probably just going to move to the next one, and we can come back in and try to make all these match a little bit. What I might do, I'm just going to cheat and just copy this grade over. And I'm going to reset this one because that power window obviously isn't going to fit on that. Okay. So yeah, this is looking too dark, right? So I'm going to come over to the HDR wheels, and then this global slider, I'm just going to crank that up maybe a half a stop. That's looking a little better. And maybe we can, are you guys using the magic mask? Let's use that. So we got the magic mask here, and I am going to mask her out. This is just like cheat mode. Resolve cheat mode. Okay. Boom. Let's put this on better. Boom. And get these flowers in here, or leaves, I mean. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, it's just. Oh, there we go. Nailed it. So if you're not familiar with how this magic mask works, it technically has right here, you've got an object mask and a person mask. I find that the object mask just works better. Every time I've tried to use a person mask on people, it just doesn't seem to find them very well. And then you've got a quality, faster and better. If you've got the processing power to handle better, just go ahead and use better because it works a lot better. And then you can refine it just like pretty much all the other qualifiers that you have in Resolve, but we'll just kind of leave it as it is. And then we're going to track this forward and back. Boom. And now I'm going to come over. Oh, let's just go back to HDR. Oh, let me turn off the mask real quick. Okay. Come back here. And you can see that that's just hitting her. So it's, like I said, it's just cheating. We're going to be pretty subtle, maybe like a quarter stop here. And oh, I always forget to take these comments off, sorry. Sweet. Oh, let's see. Interesting. Oh, right, okay. I copied that over, so that's why it was at 1250. So let me know also if there's any like effects or something that you want to see me use. Let me know, and if I know how to use them, then I will. Um, add a little bit more color into this one. This one probably needs some noise reduction. I don't know how much that's coming across on YouTube, but it's pretty noisy. I also don't love like this fringing over here. That's probably from, yeah, it's just all that saturation. So let's see what we can do. I mean, the fringing is there, I guess, from the lens. But when we add in this compression and saturation, it just gets a little bit obvious. Okay. Oh, you know what? Shoot. Yeah, let's see. Shadow of Smoke is saying turn off halation. So I don't have halation on. So that's definitely not the halation that's doing that. Because there it's on now. Oh, wait, sorry. Here we go. There's halation on and off. So that's not coming from that. That's just the lens. That's because super high contrast. That's just chromatic aberration, I guess. We can try to use this defringe. Maybe this will help. Oh, yeah, that helps a little bit. It takes the color out of it. Yeah, no worries. That was a good suggestion. Definitely. No worries. But that actually got me thinking to come up to the top here. They do have this defringe slider, which I don't often use, but here it actually really helped. So you can see how it's really taken out the saturation in that chromatic aberration, and it's letting me pull the or put the saturation back in to the sky. Okay. So I'm not sure, again, how much of the noise is coming through, but I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of noise reduction Um, we'll come up to temporal. Let me just zoom in. And can you see that? We'll come over to spatial. Spatial usually is the better tool, but it's also the much more processing intensive tool. So you can see how we're just really hitting my playback pretty hard. But I think it looks better with it on. Yeah. Sweet. Okay. Let's move to this one. And you can see too, like that the exposure is just kind of dropping because the sun is just going down, going down, going down. And I think, well, I don't know. Let's copy this over again. And we'll come back to Dehancer and we'll come up to the film compression, and we can probably lift this way back. Oh, I might not even need it anymore. Yeah, I don't even need it because we've just lost so much of the highlights because the sun has gone so far down. And we'll come back to the exposure, HDR, and whoops, let's just reset that. Maybe we'll add in, that's 2 stops. Dang, look how clean that looks. Oh wait, hold on, because we got noise reduction. Let's reset the noise reduction. Yeah, there we go. There's the noise. Okay, let's reset that. No, wait, hold on. Trying to go too fast. Okay, we'll come back to our raw controls, and we'll come back to 32, which is where it was shot. And now this kind of puts us back into a better starting point with the exposure. Okay, I think we're going to do another magic mask. Go to better. It shouldn't have any issue because they're so silhouetted. I should be able to find them pretty easily. Shwink. Boom. Track that forward and back. Turn that off. Okay, come back to the HDR wheels and then just add in maybe a quarter. The HDR palette is supposed to act like, stops of light, like if you were to drop your aperture or, shutter speed or whatever, or just increase or decrease the light that you're using to light the scene. This is supposed to be essentially just like adding or subtracting in that same like sort of ratio of using full stops of light. That's super noisy. But it's already noisy. Okay, so it's really not adding any more noise. That's just the noise from the camera. So, but I think the exposure looks better this way. So we're gonna come back here and add in our noise reduction again. The number of frames, like if in this temporal noise reduction slider, the more frames you add, the better the result is. If you go from faster to better, obviously it's better. But it's kind of just this balancing act of like good enough versus like smashing your computer. But it really, really, really cleans it up. And the other downside, the more noise reduction you add, the more it just kind of smooths out and you lose a lot of the detail. It can get kind of plasticky looking and fake. the good thing about this is, there's not a lot because they're so underexposed already. There's not a lot of detail that we're losing. But there's another new tool. Well, I'm not sure if it's new, but it's new to me. It is called. Oh shit! I forget what it's called. I was using it earlier. Hold on a second. I was practicing. Oh, texture pop. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to search for texture pop. Add that there, and label this texture. So this is kind of just like sharpening, but the cool thing about it is you can control where it goes in terms of luminance. So you can control if it goes on shadows, midtones, and highlights, low range, high range. So instead of just adding like global sharpening to the whole thing, you can just more pinpoint it. So if I crank up this detail slider, you can see it's getting pretty gnarly. So that's obviously not what we want, but you can see what it does. So just reset that, and you just need a little bit, maybe just to bring back some of the detail that we lose if we do too much, or from the noise reduction. So there's off and on, off and on. All right, and we'll just take it out of the highlights and the midtones, and ding. Okay, still a little bit heavy-handed, so just a little bit, just to add in just some of that texture back into their dresses. Can you do cool effect like make the sky purple? Sure. I guess I can. Well, we can try it. Let's see. Purple sky. Okay. I'm just going to come here and add another node before. And probably, let's see. I'm not sure what the easiest way to do this because this exposure is so similar, and there's such a strong cast, like color cast from the sky, that there's not a lot of like color contrast either. So I'm thinking that maybe the easiest way to isolate the sky is to do another magic mask of them. And if anybody has any other ideas, I'm all ears. So magic mask them and get rid of that. We definitely want the sky between them. Oh, I've got to put it on better. All right, and we'll track it. It's going to take longer to track because I've got noise reduction and I've also got that texture pop going already. Is there a noise filler? What are you referring to? The noise in my room, like audio noise, or noise with resolve? All right. Turn that off. Okay, and now we want to flip this mask around, which we can do by hitting this button, I believe. Okay. Boom. Okay, so now I've selected the sky and also the water. So obviously the sky would be reflecting in the water. Okay, so we're going to leave that, and then we can probably add a mask. Oh shit. Oh man. Oh no. Let's undo that. Oh man. Oh, it's still there. All right, we'll start with this. Okay. Purple sky. All right. There you go. Is that purple enough? Okay, so to get the, uh, let's see, if I do this mask, what's going to happen? All right, we're going to track this. And then I'm going to feather this. Sweet. What do you think? Is that a cool purple, cool purple sky? It's a little bit trippy, but um, not something that I would actually do. But I think it's pretty cool that you can do that. Obviously, you need to refine this a little bit. I think the purple's kind of spilling in down here a little bit more than up here. But it's pretty rad. Like the whole magic mask thing is pretty insane. How powerful and how easy it is to use. Okay, so let's keep it moving. I want to be able to touch on at least everybody's clips a little bit. Um, honestly don't know what to do with this one, so I'm just gonna do. Maybe we'll just see what we can crank out here in Dehancer and just make this look pretty crazy. Okay, so we're gonna change to DaVinci Wide Gamut. We're gonna add on 2383 or 3513. I kind of like 2383 for this one. All right, and let's come back up to the film compression and add that. So we're going to have, these are going to be pretty bright, these specular highlights of these tube lights and these can lights here. So those are going to be, clipping a little bit. So I'm probably okay with them being up there. I can maybe bring them down a little bit to maybe around the 90 point. Yeah, this one is definitely begging for bloom inhalation. That's you read my mind. That's exactly where I was going to go for this one. There's not a lot of color in it, like there's a little bit of color obviously in those lights. So we'll just do a little color boost, but it's pretty monochromatic. And the color density here is, so watch the yellow on that chain and on his shirt. This is really just going to make that just super deep. And like I said, I think this color density really is hitting red, yellow, blue, like the actual primary colors and not RGB. But I really like what it does. Color density has always been a great one to use. All right, so now, turn off film grain. Okay, halation, add that in. They recently added in all these profiles, so you can just hit it with 8mm, 16, 35, and 65, or you can just do it the old-fashioned way and dial it in yourself. I don't know if anybody else is having this issue, but my mask mode has been broken on Dehancer forever. Like whenever I hit the mask mode, I just can't see anything, which makes dialing in where you want these halation and bloom to work a little bit tricky. But what I'll usually do is just kind of crank up the global, the diffusion and the amplify, just so I can really see where it's happening without the mask, and then just turning it on and off. All right, so there we go. Where are we at? We're on halation. Source limiter. So we want that way. I don't like global diffusion. Global diffusion adds in like pretty much all over like a whole wash of like red, yellow to the image. But since this is so lacking in a lot of different color, maybe having a global diffusion is actually kind of cool. It definitely makes it more like retro looking. Why is this looking instead of... Does this look weird? It looks like it's doing a bloom instead of halation. Am I losing my mind? It's possible. Definitely possible. Okay. And now for the bloom. Amplify. Shrunk. Can y'all see that? And the cool thing too, they hit this scene with a lot of mist. So if I play this through, I'm not sure if it's going to be evident in this portion that I selected, but you can see mist coming through. I don't know if they use like a fog machine too, but you can see there's a lot of blooming on the highlights already. My bloom is not enabled, so it's already kind of blooming. So they did some pretty cool stuff with this shot already, but now it's on. So that's bloom on and off, on and off, and on. This guy, he looks like he's from Mad Max or something. Mark Wiemels, I think he's from Michigan, but he lives in Australia. So this guy's, not that it matters, but it's always interesting to see people from different countries with different fashion sensibilities and kind of like weird, different culture. What else can we add? I'm liking this exposure. I don't mind that it's kind of crushed down at the bottom, but maybe we can look at just maybe if it looks better with the blacks raised a little bit. Not that much. And I would say probably his face is a little bit, well, a lot of it overexposed. But I'm not sure that I mind. Yeah, I like it better. Yeah, I think it, brings out some detail in his face. And let's track that mask. How good? I mean, it got a little bit off at the end there. It's all right. All right. Looks pretty good. The track, I mean, not the grade. I guess we could do, before and after. So we started there, and we're hitting it. That's what we've done. Improvement, yay, nay. I don't know. I'm not a prof. Oh, I should have let off at the beginning. I am not a professional. I am just a guy who likes playing with the buttons and stuff. Um, this is before and after. Before and after. I think we need to come back to this one. I kind of left off this one. Okay. Whew. How's everybody doing? Anybody still here? I don't blame you if you're not. I don't think I've. Let's see. Any questions that I've missed out on? Is there a noise filler? I'm not sure. Anybody want to see anything particular with these shots here? Any inspiration? I'm trying to think. I didn't really get a chance to look through or do like kind of a practice with Garrett's shots beforehand, so I don't know. I don't know. Let's not do Dehancer. How about that? We'll do no Dehancer for this one, and see if I can come up with anything without it. So let's do. I'll just label these just to give me a starting point. We'll call this one balance, exposure, and contrast. I'll do another one for saturation. Okay. So starting with exposure, so I don't know if you are aware, hold on. When you adjust contrast in Resolve, it has the effect of adding in saturation too, which you can see, like especially if you look at the this woman, this red here. So just moving this contrast slider, also the greens, you can see in the trees how things become more saturated when you add in contrast. There's a way to do it, to add in contrast without changing the saturation. You can do it a couple different ways. If you come over to the curves, by default, the luminance and the RGBs are all linked. So if you do kind of an S-curve kind of thing, then it does the same thing where it's kind of adding in saturation. But if you unlink those and just work on the luminance channel by itself, then you can add in contrast without affecting the saturation. Just something to know about. Where are we at here? Okay. And another interesting technique that has become much more prominent for saturation. So instead of using the, saturation slider, which there's nothing wrong with that, but something you can do instead is if you come up to a node, you can right click it, come down to color space. And I've seen people use HSL or HSV. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is between the two, but they seem to do pretty much the same thing in my experience anyway. So just choose HSL or HSV. Once you select that, then open it up again, come to channels, and unselect channel 1, which is hue, and unselect channel 3, which I guess for HSL would be luminance, and V, I don't know. So maybe that's a reason to choose HSL. So basically what you're left with then is saturation on channel 2. And then you can come back to your primaries, your color wheels, and instead of messing with the color wheels themselves, you want to mess with what's typically the exposure. And you can see how that's adding in saturation by just cranking that exposure dial on the gain. And again in the midtones. So it has like kind of a more like the kind of like the deepening and sort of like richness that you get from like the Dehancer slider that's color density. This kind of has a similar kind of thing where instead of just adding in pumping in saturation, it also has a quality of maybe sort of deepening the colors and making them a little bit richer as opposed to just more saturated. I don't know, it's subtle, but that's what that looks like. And let me add one more node here, and I'm gonna turn this one off and then just come back to saturation. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Come over to this node and crank in saturation. So like 85. All right. That looks like that. We'll turn that off and then come back to our HSV node. And like I said, it's subtle. I don't know. I don't know what I would like to do with this image in terms of just kind of stylizing it. I don't know. It looks. I kind of like it sort of clean and natural. Even just the time of day, it kind of looks like almost like a noonday. So there's obviously not going to be like a really heavy color cast from golden hour. Um, so let's add in. Let's see if we can do anything with the halation that's built into Resolve, just to maybe just stylize it just a little bit and give it a little bit of that film look. I'm not a huge fan of this halation. It just gets a little bit out of control, I think. You can see it here, hitting his forehead, and I just think it doesn't have quite as much distinction about where it goes. And I can't remember exactly how to fine-tune exactly where it happens. Oh, here we go. Secondary glow is um, similar to the bloom effect, I think, in Dehancer. You can see that. That looks good like that. No, not really. Just as I'm trying to add just a little bit of bloom, you can see it hitting the back of his neck and here on on his forehead. Oh wait, whoa, what is that? It's turning it purple. This is why I don't like the one in Resolve. I don't want his neck to turn purple. Why is it doing that? Hmm. Yeah, it's that secondary glow that's making it turn purple. So we'll not use that. And they've got a grain in the halation tool. But if we're going to add grain, I'll just use the big film grain because you've got more control over where it goes. We'll use 35. And advanced controls, you can put it in shadows, midtones, and highlights. I usually like to pretty much just leave the grain and the highlights. It's the especially when you go to YouTube, it can be really hard to see any grain once it gets compressed. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly where to go with these shots. Oh, maybe they're a little green because of the all the trees. It's obviously casting a lot of the lights bouncing around, and they're picking up a lot of the green. So maybe we can try um, to ungreen everybody. Maybe we can just come to the offset and take out some of that green. So that's green and less green. So that's pretty easy. I think that looks a little better. Sometimes it's just a matter of like looking at your vector scope and just trying to move like the glob like right at the middle is a really easy way to get to balance the image. You can see how the glob is like definitely leaning green yellow, and then just dragging it over a little bit in the opposite direction puts it more in the middle, and it just kind of easily balances everything. And I don't know that we really need to do much more than that. But you can, we'll try to maybe do just a skin tone selection. If I select a node, that would help. And turn that on. her dress is just really making it difficult. I just want to see where we are just in terms of their skin tones. I'm not trying to really mask out her dress. I don't think I am. Okay, so yeah, we're still looking a little green. Um, okay. I definitely want to keep finessing this mask a little bit, but I don't want to take much longer. I'm pretty sure everybody has dipped out at this point, and I'm not sure now if they're looking too magenta. There's something about these images coming out of this camera that are just super, super sharp. Um, almost like that almost looks like they're in a green screen or something. Not in a bad way. Like it's kind of interesting. They're just popping so hard out of that background. It almost doesn't look like they're really in that background. Even not even this, not just this one too. When I was playing this one back, or maybe it was this one. Yeah, they almost look like they're just not even really there. What is your, if anybody's still here, what, I know you were talking about lenses earlier. Anyway, I really like this, the Lumix S5 Mark II and the S1 and whatever lenses you're using. Just has a really cool look. Just the out of focus areas too. All right, well, I think I've overstayed my welcome. I've definitely worn myself out. I hope um, I hope you all got something out of that. Really appreciate it. The computer is. Oh, that's. It was trying to load up that crazy grade we did with the purple sky. I definitely didn't want to do that. Let's render this one in place real quick. Whatever. Let's do it. Anyway, really appreciate it. If you are still hanging, or anybody who did hang, yeah, I was trying to do the film grain, and it just wasn't really happening on your shots. I'm a huge fan of the purple sky. I'm glad we did that. Let's just real quick. I'm gonna undo Oh yeah, yeah, no worries. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And again, Garrett, maybe send me an Instagram message. I would be curious to know what lenses you're using with your S5 because I really like the way this looks. Anyway, really appreciate it. And thanks for all the questions. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you guys have a good weekend, the rest of your weekends. Go Vols. Cool beans. See y'all later. Oh, that camera died. I was wondering where it went. Okay, bye. This time, see you later.